is good. How is yours?
My life is great, too.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, good to hear. So, well, let me start this the way I was going to start it after hours of show prep. There is a story out about Tim Ballard and Operation OUR. And I am not going to comment on rumors. And I didn't know how to address this. There were stories that were going around that there were these women that Tim, what would you say? Because there's nothing illegal charged in this. I guess was just, on missions with and broke his marriage covenant with his wife. And he has been all over saying that he doesn't really know what the charges are. He doesn't know who his accusers are. And none of the things that they say is true. And for several days when it first broke, I and some others were on the phone with Tim all the time. At 3:00 in the morning on Sunday morning, just a couple of weeks ago, I'm on the phone trying to talk him down. If this is true, then you have something to worry about. But you say this isn't true, so trust in God. And his story started to fall apart by Sunday. And I came in on Monday, and I don't even know if I said this on the air. I doubt I did, but I was so close to ending the show about 20 minutes in. I looked at Stu in the first commercial break, and I said, I can't do this because I don't know what's true anymore. Because I had been friends with Tim Ballard for so long, and I had felt completely duped. And if I thought, if I don't know that about somebody who I'm close to, how can I possibly come on the air and tell people what is true? I have no idea, obviously. But I didn't want to say anything until we had facts. And quite honestly, I don't trust anybody with facts. I don't even trust me. I didn't want to do the investigation on my own. I'm not an investigative reporter. And I wanted something that you could read and come to the end and go, okay. So hundreds of man hours in an investigative story. Hundreds of man hours. It has consumed much of the work at Blaze Media for the last 2 weeks. And it has consumed me waiting. Last night I got the story, and it was supposed to be published, and I got it last night because I was going to share it with you. And then we got a call from attorneys. Now, this story, we checked with Tim Ballard. We talked to, I believe, 5 different women that are making these charges, and OUR. And the charges are pretty ugly. And we were hoping to publish on Monday, but we still couldn't get Tim to go on record. And so we didn't feel it was right to just have charges and not answers for that. So we talked to everyone, and our goal was to be fair and honest. And I think this is one of the fairest articles I've read in maybe 20. It's because it's journalism. That's what it is. It's journalism. It's not gotcha. It's nothing. It's journalism. And it's simply looking for the truth.
You're saying we and our a lot? Did you have anything to do with the actual journalism in the story?
I mean we because of Blaze Media.
Okay. You weren't. You didn't do the investigation.
No. And I didn't want anything to do with the investigation. In fact, I when the story was handed, somebody reached out to me and said the women want to tell their story. They want to tell it to you. And I'm like, I'm too close to it. I don't want,
Because Tim's a friend.
Yeah.
And he's been a friend for a long time.
And I was beginning to feel betrayed. And I was torn. I could either, my friendship could cloud it, or the fact that I was starting to feel if I started to believe them, maybe I would go too far.
Right.
And, slaughter. And I didn't want to do either of those things. Okay. I just want to know the truth. That's all I want. And so when they called, it was passed on to Leon Wolf, our news director, and I said to him and the journalist beforehand, I have nothing to do with this. I just want you to know we're coworkers. But don't ever think, well, this is going to bother Glenn or this is going to, nothing. Pursue the truth. I don't care how it ends, where it ends. I just want to know the truth. So they did. And my gosh, we bent over backwards to make sure we checked and double checked and did all of the investigative stuff that we're supposed to do. And I have opinions now because I've read the story. But I can't read the story to you now. And I'll tell you why I think this happened. Late last night, apparently the attorneys for the women called and said, you can't publish this. We didn't give permission. And we're like, yes, you did. And it's all on tape. And they said, well, we haven't, we're their attorneys. We haven't given permission. We're like, well, sorry. However, we said we wouldn't run it because we're not going to re-victimize people. If their story is true, then I'm not going to be a part, and the Blaze media is not going to be a part of re-victimizing people. Here's what I think happened, and I'll give you two scenarios, but what I think happened all through this story, these women were terrified. I know I talked to a guy who was a inside source, and he said he is so worried he's moving his family away when this story breaks. That's how terrified he is. These women are not only terrified because, quite honestly, Tim Ballard is known as a good guy. He is liked by a lot of people. He was a friend of mine. I still consider him a friend, but a friend, I think, who is gravely misguided and needs to change his ways. With that being said, I still could be wrong. I wasn't there, but I have seen the text messages. I have read the quotes and listened to the tape of the interviews. And I will tell you, I believe one side. But I could be wrong. And it brings me no joy to say this. I found out about this with the attorneys after doing all of the show prep on it and everything else. I found out about this, 35 minutes ago, that I couldn't share the actual story with you. But I will tell you that it is disturbing, and I would urge the women who are involved to call their attorney and give permission. I know you're afraid, but the truth sets you free. Let the chips fall where they may. This is an important thing. People are so wary of anybody and anything anymore because you wait and write a book. The world's on fire. And I knew about it 2.5 years ago, but I wrote a book to tell you about it. They're so freaked out. And this is one of the things the women are freaked out about as well, is Kavanaugh. There are all kinds of people that make charges and they don't turn out to be true. And all of these women didn't plan on telling their story. It's that the story got out because there's a lot of people involved. And the story got out, and then they felt like, we can't be framed as liars. I mean, it's been an agonizing and very long 2 weeks for Blaze Media. I urge them to call their attorney. Today is the only day I will have time until next week to comment on it or to share the story. I urge them to call their attorney and then Blaze Media and release the story. If you choose not to, that's fine. We don't have to, but we will abide by your decision. But it's not good, gang. And the reason I feel passionately about this, to find the truth and tell you, is because this one affects me deeply. And there is no way I can be on the air and point a finger and say, justice, where is justice? Where are the people in their own party? Where are the people in, in the news media? You know why they don't report that? Because they're all involved or they're all friends with each other and they won't stab each other in the back. Truth is truth. And if it means I have to say things I don't want to about somebody I consider a friend, so be it. Truth is all we have. As a recovering alcoholic who violated the trust of everyone who I was close to, in the end, when I was left with nothing, and I was literally down on my knees at my lowest point, I realized the only thing I wanted back was not my money, was not my fame, was second to my family, quite honestly, because I knew I couldn't get my family back if I didn't have this. And what that was integrity. And I vowed, I will do what you want me to do. I just want my integrity back. I cannot tell others to do what they should do without doing it myself. Please tell the truth. American Financing is our sponsor.
American